Hello everyone, welcome to Bhadra IAS Academy. Now we are in the last stage of the preparation for the APSC combined competitive examination, that is what we call the personal interview. So बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स का इंटरव्यू ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम चल रहा है, फिर भी ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्वेरी आ रहा है सर इंटरव्यू ट्रेनिंग का प्रिपरेशन कैसा करना है, क्या क्या एरिया के ऊपर हमको फोकस करना है, कैसा क्वेश्चंस को एंटिसिपेट करना है। तो मैं सोचा कि एक छोटा सा एक वीडियो बना दूं, तो इस वीडियो में आपका जो बेसिक इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए वो इन्फॉर्मेशन हम दे देंगे। अगर आपको एकदम डिटेल में इसका ट्रेनिंग का जानकारी करना है और यू वांट टू लर्न मोर अबाउट दिस ट्रेनिंग, देन यू कैन कॉन्टैक्ट Bhadra IAS Academy directly. Then we will able to help you and guide you for the interview program. So now if you see, the interview training program is basically a one-to-one conversation with the panel members, which the panel members basically try to check your personality. तो अभी देखिए what is this interview. Normally students सोचते हैं अभी हमारा इंटरव्यू हो रहा है, तो इंटरव्यू में वो लोग क्या चेक करेंगे। If you see, प्रीलिम्स और मेंस का एग्जामिनेशन में योर नॉलेज लेवल का टेस्टिंग हो गया है, यू हैव ऑलरेडी क्वालिफाइड. So in the last stage, what is the panel members looking from you is to see the type of personality that you have, वो APSC ऑफिसर के लिए फिट होता है क्या नहीं होता है. So basically interview therefore is nothing but a personality test. Therefore your focus for the interview preparation should be more on presenting your personality in a better way so that you look like an officer or an officer material for the post. So now how to then anticipate questions, what happens in the interview. Basically anticipating the questions helps you to reduce your tension, your nervousness and also anxiety, and it prevents you from shock and surprise during the interview. Okay, नहीं तो क्या होता है, कोई अनएक्सपेक्टेड क्वेश्चन आ गया, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अचानक कोई इंटरव्यू पैनल से मेंबर आपको पूछ लिया हु इज योर फेवरेट एक्टर या हु इज योर फेवरेट पॉलिटिशियन, तब आपको पता नहीं है किसका नाम ले लो, तो आप किसी का नाम फायर कर देंगे विदाउट नोइंग. तो उसके बाद क्या होता है, उसके बाद उसके पीछे ज्यादा क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा, फिर उस क्वेश्चन को कैसे हैंडल करना है, दैट विल बिकम योर प्रॉब्लम. So now anticipating helps you to prepare the best possible answers that you can provide in the examination. So it doesn't mean that you are actually giving the best answer, but this is the best possible answer that you can give. Okay. And also as I told you, it actually reduces your tension, क्योंकि हर इंटरव्यू में स्टूडेंट्स का सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम क्या है, किधर है, हाउ टू हैंडल प्रेशर, हाउ टू हैंडल द नर्वसनेस. ओके, सो वन वे टू रिड्यूस द प्रेशर एंड नर्वसनेस इज टू प्रिपेयर योर बेस्ट पॉसिबल आंसर, एंड सो इट ऑल्सो गिव्स यू the time to organize your presentation for the interview. So now if you see, normally we learn from the experience of the past students, experience from the panel member ka questions, that what is the trend and pattern of expecting questions in the interview. So for example, if you look at our seniors who have gone through us before, they have given some what we can say idea on what questions were asked to them and how you can prepare for your interview. For example, a student was asked questions like different spheres. For example, question related to native place. Okay, that is your hometown, your district, and what is the speciality of your district. ऐसा जो क्वेश्चन आता है इसमें आपको पूछा भी जाता है about historical background of your place and what is the for example if you have some any significant events taking place in the place, या कोई पॉपुलर पर्सनालिटी आपका डिस्ट्रिक्ट से है, तो ये सब सवाल आपको पूछा जाता है अबाउट योर डिस्ट्रिक्ट. एंड अबाउट असम, बिकॉज मोस्ट स्टूडेंट्स नॉर्मली गेट क्वेश्चंस ड्यूरिंग द इंटरव्यू अबाउट असम, दैट इज असम हिस्ट्री, आर्ट, कल्चर, इकोनॉमिक कंडीशंस, सोशल प्रॉब्लम्स. It also depends on the type of subject that you have studied, yeah, your optional paper. So whether you will get questions on history or geography or polity also will in a way depend on the your subject. And also common questions like civil service, like what is the responsibility या role and function of ACS, APS, etc. वो भी आपको पूछा जाएगा. And some question about your personality check, that's where you will get who is your favorite actor, actress, या poet, या singer, या dancer, या politician. उसके बारे में भी आपको सवाल पूछा जाएगा. लेकिन most frequently asked questions are like why do you want to become a civil servant and what is the relationship between APS and other administrative officers like ACS officers, and what do you like about Assam. These are very general pattern of question that have been asked in the last few sessions. And also Another person sent me message when I asked what questions were asked. For example, what is the model code of conduct and who issues it, and questions also from history because the subject of history, and also graduation subject about poet, literature, etc. because that student had graduation literature subject. So if you see, if you have studied some particular subject in your graduation, if you have taken some particular subject in your optional paper, then you need to go through the basic concepts and basic theories of the subject. That is relevant. And also current affair, that I need not say, current affair सबको पूछा जाता है. You will get one or two current affair issues, maybe relating to India, Assam, international issues that you have to prepare current affair. Now another student ka experience is say that my interview was about 40 to 45 minutes falling under board 1 last year. So if you see the questions that were asked to this student ranging from different fear. For example, if you see questions from personal questions, then optional, that is academic experience, and also current affair. But most questions were inclined towards opinion. मतलब क्या है? Sometimes they ask you opinion. What do you say about it? What is your stand about it? या इंडिया का कोई stand है, उसका ऊपर आपका क्या बोलना है? Okay. So therefore you need to prepare what we call opinion based question. Also you see this student was asked question about optional subject. Another student sent a message saying that why do you think that you are fit out of 500 or so candidates to be selected? And also direct question, will you take bribe if you are selected? Also some students were asked if your officer under you, officer above you involves in corruption, bribery, how will you go about it? What action will you take? So you have to prepare for such hypothetical questions. The third number is very important question. Say for example, you are an engineer, doctor, you are a teacher. Now the question is, why do you want to be a civil servant? This question 99% of students को पूछा जाता है. So you have to be well prepared for this topic. Number 4, I already mentioned to you, it's a basic study about your native place, your district, etc. So what is famous there, or what is the speciality of your district, your hometown, that will be asked to you. Question number 5 is a repetition graduation subject. Question number 6, what is your preference, civil service, that is ACS or police, and why? So whatever preference option you have given, you have to prepare why have you taken that. So that will be in a way how much you are aware of the responsibility that you are going to take up, uska aapka preparation kaisa hai. Number 7, what is the duty of civil servants? This is the like role and function. Bhadra's Academy mein we are giving a handout to students on how to prepare. Okay, in that I have given lot of details about the role and functions of civil servants like ACS, APS, you can go through that. Then also ask question about difference between the first appointments of state civil service, central civil service, etc. So these are some technical issues that you need to keep in mind. Like question number 9 is not asked to every student, therefore that you can in a way do not expect too much, but other questions are very commonly asked, you should prepare. The next one, for example, if you see, this student told me he was asked about family background, schooling, its home district. You see, these are all very common. And then what will you do for the upliftment of your district, and what is the economic potential of his district, and also BTR treaty because he was from Udalguri district, and about its village, its का total population, economic activity. और ये student का optional subject था, that is मतलब honor का subject economics, so they also ask questions about economic subject related topic. Therefore whatever आपका subject है, that subject should be prepared very well. Okay. The next one, if you see, another student said maximum opinion based questions were asked. Like it is a very common trend asking opinions. So you need to actually prepare various issues. For example, अभी यूक्रेन रशिया का वॉर चल रहा है, उसमें इंडिया का स्टैंड क्या है? दिस इज एन ओपिनियन. सपोज इंडिया में करप्शन बढ़ रहा है या करप्शन कम हो रहा है, दैट इज योर ओपिनियन, यू हैव टू से. So like this hypothetical cases will be given where you have to make your opinion or take a stand. Okay, this is a very tricky part. You need to really prepare some things beforehand. Then second number is so very easy, information about our own area. This has been asked to many students. Then cultural idea about our own culture, family card details. Then less questions asked regarding the optional subject for this student. Okay. The next question with the student, Basically, they asked him why you want to be ACS and about hobbies and about home district, that is the literacy rate, problems, etc. And question related to college and optional subject. And the next student, if you see, he was asked any significant work he has done for society, means his own hometown. And being the commissioner, how would I solve the problems of water logging in Guwahati? Then difference between CBSE, that is about school, okay. Then why the cricketers of Assam unable to make it to bigger level? See, these are some opinion based questions where you have to give some reasoning, analysis, etc. So if you look at it, basically the type of questions are asked are quite common and similar. Okay, so the next student said that they asked him about his parents, about his employment. See, employment is a very important area you have to prepare. Suppose you have already worked somewhere, you have done some job, definitely आपको आपका पुराना employment के बारे में सवाल पूछा जाएगा. Second thing, if you have already worked, you will get a question, why are you leaving that job? Why do you want to take civil service? You have to have some very good reason. Okay, so your reasons should not be selfish reasons, rather you can think about how you want to be at service to the people. That will be a better way of looking at your change of job. Okay, so these kind of questions definitely you will get it and you will have to prepare for it. Then he was asked some schemes like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Assam history, then GST and VAT, National Education Policy, and Lower Subansiri project, etc. Okay, so now based on, I am just showing you few students ka review, whatever they had sent me. Okay, but the trend, based on the trend of the patterns in the previous years, what can we say? How to prepare for interview? First thing I suggest that you prepare on academic related questions. मतलब क्या है? You look at your school education, from where did you study? So find out who is the management of that school, college, university, and what are their basic principles, value system. Whether you went to private school, या government school, या private college, या government college. Okay, and what is the speciality about your college, your university? When was it started? Means some very basic information they ask you. Also related to academics is your optional subject in APSC. So what are the basic concepts of that optional subject and its relevance to today's world and also to civil service. In addition, you have to prepare your graduation and master ka subject, and they ask you some very basic concepts about your educational background. Okay, so this is one area of questions which are asked in APSC. Okay, so for example, you see, so the student was asked about honor subject economics, macro, micro, economic growth, development, etc. Second important area where questions are asked is employment. As I told you, so when you have already done some work in the past, prepare the very basic concepts relating to your employment. For example, if you have worked in medical sector, you should have the basic knowledge. What is like current context, what is a vaccine, a patent for vaccine, what is the problem. Okay, so some basic concepts you should know. Or if you have worked in education sector, they will ask you what is the new education policy, what are the problems in education in Assam, why children drop out from school, what is the significance of midday meal scheme. You see, they are related to your employment. So any employment जो आपने engage किया था अभी तक, उसका basic concepts update करो, इसका बहुत important होता है. Second, you have to look at it, what is its relevance to today's world, means your particular industry where you worked, whether it's IT sector or education or medical or whatever, entertainment or media, wherever you worked. Okay, and also you look at it, how this experience of this employment will help you in civil service, whether you have learned something from there. That also another area they can ask you. Question number 2 I have given here. You are an engineer, doctor, etc. But then why are you leaving that to join civil service? So this question definitely you can expect to be answered in the interview. So kindly prepare the question number 2 very well, because this is something your personal. Third area which you have to prepare is what we call personality. Personality mein, if you see, you have to look at your hobby, what do you do normally. Your hobby, your family background, etc. basically comes in your self-introduction. Suppose you don't mention in your self-introduction पैनल मेंबर आपको इसके बारे में पूछेंगे, because your hobby basically talks also about your personality, what type of person you are. So hobby also you have to pick up some hobby which talks about your personality rather than very ordinary activities. Okay, so pick up what is your hobby, what do you do. Suppose for example I give you an idea how to prepare a hobby. For example, if you say your hobby is photography, then what happens, you need to prepare what are the very basic concepts related to photography. Okay, so some technical terms they will ask you. Or if you say your hobby is to listening music, they will ask you what are the different types of music we have, or what is the difference between classical music or rock music, and who are the famous singers in Assam, in India, or which type of music is popular currently. Means many questions related to your hobby can be asked. Okay, for example, if you see last year Jintu Sharma had gone for interview. His hobby was football, playing, watching. So they asked him a lot of questions about football. So that is how you need to prepare well. Related to personality also is your skill set. What type of skills do you have for administration, means for civil service. So those things are like a plus points. So interview mein, if you want to score more marks, you have to actually work on your skill set, which will be helpful. And your good qualities, what are the good qualities you have for administration? It is in a way, I put it in bracket, why should you be selected? Means what are the qualities, skills that you have for selection. The last point is very important. Also, most students are asked this question, what is your weakness where you need to improve? Okay, or your weakness for service. So now weakness, you need to actually think about a personality weakness which you can improve. For example, a person can say like I am very much of a perfectionist. I always look at perfection in whatever I do. As a result of which maybe I am not able to accomplish my work on time. So what is the best way to learn and improve from there? The best thing is, instead of doing perfect work, you can always do your best. Achieve whatever is best possible for you. So that is one way where you can overcome your weakness. Or somebody can be very critical. Now that person can improve it by becoming realistic. Instead of having too much of expectation from people and criticizing them, you can look at the reality and say, okay, people have what limitations. So understanding helps you to overcome your weakness. So you need to prepare what is your weakness. Like maybe sometimes anger is also weakness. Being too much emotional is also weakness. So please think about it. Okay. So it will help you to better answer your questions in interview. Now coming to the main part. ये जो इंटरव्यू होता है, इस इंटरव्यू में you will definitely get some question on what post you applied for. They will definitely ask you which post it's your preference. Suppose if you say ACS, they may ask you why ACS, or they may go one step further and they ask you what are the basic functions of ACS officers. Okay, that you have to prepare. I have given here some basic information which are actually shared by serving ACS officers who are working right now on field in Assam. So they shared that ACS officers perform different functions. For example, the basic task is general administration. What is this? Like working in different branches of DC office, SDO, okay, then magistrate, then what we can say, because I personal development, land records, RTI, census, okay, then food and civil supply, etc. So generally we can say their main task is maintenance of law and order, and also ACS can be head of any department. Okay, they also conduct inquest. That means what? Find out the cause of unnatural deaths. Whenever there is a death, the ACS has to go and do the checking. Okay, it's like these are some of the basic activities. And what are the powers of ACS? If you see, they have the power of executive magistrate. A junior grade ACS officer is subordinate only to a DC, ADC and SP. Under section 107, executive magistrate can summon any person identified by the local police in case of breach of peace, etc. That means what happens, you see, ACS officer gets a lot of power. Okay, so some of this you should at least be aware. At least 1 or 2 points you can mention if they ask you in the interview. Second, here I have given you a lot of questions which you can prepare. Okay, these are like very general questions asked. It can also vary board to board. For example, what is the difference between ACS and APS? How do ACS and APS work together to maintain law and order? Okay, that is a very common question asked. The number 3 and 4 is like a hypothetical question. If an officer working under you is corrupt, what will you do? Similarly, if an officer above you, your rank is corrupt, what will you do? So this is a ethical stand you have to take. Okay, there's a procedure how to complain or how to go about. Number 5, if your staff in the department refuses to cooperate with you, how will you make them work? Number 6, how will you handle flood, riot, etc.? This is what we call hypothetical ability testing question. So they will give you, suppose there's a riot in your hometown, right? And that is where you are also posted and the people are known to you. Now how will you go about? Now what action will you take? So you need to think as an officer, not as a what we can say as a social worker or as NGO, or a politician. You don't think from that line. One thing, see, I must tell you, ये जो इंटरव्यू में सवाल पूछा जाता है, ये सब सवाल का आंसर you have to give from an administrative point of view. That means what? You are an officer, an administrator, using the state machinery and the mechanism and the procedure available to you. What can you do? That is the way you must prepare for your examination. Okay, so then what happen? Your interview will be smooth and also you will talk quite sensibly. Okay, and coming to the other things, like you should know your state very well, Assam. So what are the major problems in Assam and how will you tackle the problem? Maybe identify 10-15 problems. Okay, so work out the solution and also Assam related other topics. That's what I put there bracket GS5. That means what? Assam history, basic Assam geography like rivers, climate, rainfall, some basic question they can ask you. And also Assam economy, Assam ka what you can say political movement, freedom fight, okay, all that. That will be part of your Assam related preparation, some revision you have to do. And main thing is your district. If you ask last year ka batch or previous year ka batch, most of the students were asked the question about their district. So this is your very important work, I would say. What is the speciality of your district? What are the major landmarks in your district? And what are the major problems in your district? And do you have a solution? So I am giving you some simple homework. Do your homework. Start gathering information A to Z of your district. You see, after the interview you will realize this is the very important thing also. Next one, you can go for some current affair topic, national, international issues. I have given some examples. You can definitely prepare more. So recently, if you see, terrorism has been like a big issue in India for many years. But India-China relation, in the last 2-3 years, it has come to light quite a bit. GDP slowdown, and currently we are facing another problem called inflation. Citizenship registration, CAA, Assam, it was an issue. Since it's a APSC interview, you might get some questions. COVID-19, health, economy related issues. Recent communal issues like Karnataka, other places, communal clashes, violence, etc. Then demolition drive, which occupied the newspaper headlines recently. Then Russia war, that will be an international issue. Sri Lankan crisis. Then other related current affair topics which are now recently going on. Maybe last 1-2 months or 3 months, at least you should be aware of it. What happened recently. So what is the technique basically to prepare all this? If you look at the major issues and problems, you will get a basic idea. But how to find the issues and problem? Basically look at what is the major policies of the government in the last 1-2 years. From the policies also you know what are the schemes, and from the schemes if you know what are the problems. Because every scheme is targeting to solve some problem. So if you look at the recent scheme last 2-3 years also, which you must have prepared for exam, वहाँ से आपको पता चलेगा what are the major issues. Because every scheme targets to tackle some problem. Okay. So now what is the new thing that you can do is the last one I have given. Can you suggest anything new in the existing scheme या existing policy? That is your contribution. अगर आप ये कर सकते हैं, so that is what your creativity comes in. सो इसके लिए आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, फर्स्ट यू हैव टू गो थ्रू द गवर्नमेंट का मेजर स्कीम. इस स्कीम में अगर कुछ इंप्रूवमेंट हो सकता है या यू कैन सजेस्ट समथिंग, दैट इज योर कंट्रीब्यूशन एज एन ऑफिसर और एज अ क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग पर्सन, व्हाट यू कैन डू. ओके, सो माय सिंपल सजेशन इज, डू यू वांट टू बी वाइज, then do your homework. If you do your homework, if you prepare properly, and I am 100% sure when you go for interview, your nervousness, your tension, it all will be very low. Actually you will grow in confidence. क्योंकि end of the day if you see interview में, if you want to be very successful, आपको क्या चाहिए? You need to show your confidence, you need to be calm, you need to be very composed actually on the day of the interview. So preparation is the only thing that will make you sure that you are well prepared for the interview. Okay, however, if you want to know something more, if you want to have a thorough discussion with us or one-to-one chat, or you want to have a training program, you can contact Bhadra IAS Academy. So our number is 8638391721. Okay, you are most welcome. The interview training program is going on, and the mock interview session is also going on, and this mock interview session is fully free. Okay, we are still giving the training program for those students who are interested, and this will continue till about the 4th of June when the interviews are still going on. So those students, those aspirants who are still not prepared, you are most welcome. Prepare and be successful in the upcoming exam season, and wish you all the best for your bright future as well. Thank you once again. If you have anything, you can contact us.